Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. Now then, this is something I'd never thought I'd hear myself saying, but this video is sponsored by WPL. That's right, sponsored. I don't know if you can remember, I briefly mentioned a collaboration at the end of the previous couple of videos. Well, this is it. They approached me and asked me to make a video building one of their kits. I, of course, immediately jumped at the chance. So they have sent me the ordinary kit version of the WPL C34 to build. They've also asked that I fit the 2-speed motor and gearbox, and that I fit the version 3, Res 3, the Res 3 electronics with the sound, the petrol. We've got the petrol version here. They've also asked me if I would fit that, make a video about fitting that. So that is precisely what we're going to do today. Now, I'm going to probably split the video into 3 parts. The first part, today's part, we're going to build the chassis. The second part is going to be the electronics. And the third part is probably going to be the body and take it for a run. Now, before we start the build, a big thank you to WPL for allowing me to do this for them. A big thank you to their marketing department, who have been absolutely superb. They pretty much shipped this out, it must have been 10 working days tops. All the links to the products I'm going to use today and over the 3 videos are going to be listed in the description. So if you want any of them, click the link and it'll take you straight to the official WPL website. So anyway, enough of the waffle. Let's get into the build, the chassis. Now then, I think I've got all of the chassis componentry here, the axles, etc. I've liberally dumped everything I think I need on the desk, which is what normally happens. End up with a mountain of stuff. Now, I'm a bit embarrassed to say I've never ever built a WPL kit. I've always bought ready-to-runs and modified them. So this will be new to me, actually building one of these kits from start to finish. But I think what we're going to do, it does say start with the bodywork, but I think we're going to ignore the instructions for the purposes of today's video, and we're going to move straight to the chassis. And the first thing it says we've got to do is, well, build the shock absorbers actually, but I think we'll build the axles instead. Now, this is the ordinary kit version. The metal kit version, or the KM, comes with obviously metal axles. I think you get like a metal steering rod assembly, and you get wheel weights, etc. And I think the kit tyres, I think you get a slightly softer even than the kit tyres. But you get a choice of both motors. Oh no, you don't actually. You just get the one, don't you? You get the 2-speed. But they've given me both types. They've given me a 180 and a 2-speed in this one. But like I say, they've asked me to fit the 2-speed. So that's precisely what we're going to do. Plastic axles, from past experience. Like I said, I've never built one of the kits, but I've built plenty of axles up, and they always seem to go together quite well. There's generally a little bit of moulding flash on them, but nothing to worry about. And they very rarely get a problem with them binding. The metal ones can be problematic, but the plastic ones tend to fly together, to be honest. Which is precisely what we're after. Minimal effort, maximum results. Now, because this kit is the ordinary kit, not the kit metal, they actually supply only plastic drive shafts. But I know for a fact that they are not going to be up to the job if we're using this 2-speed motor and gearbox. So I just happen to have a genuine set of WPL drive shafts that I was saving for a rainy day. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to press these into action, and I'm not going to use the plastic ones that come with the kit, because to be honest they probably won't last 5 minutes. So I'll bolt the faceplate onto the axle housing, or pumpkin for our American viewers, and I'll start on the rear. I've also Loctited the little grub screw in, which I strongly advise everyone does that, because otherwise they tend to rattle out, and when you're in the middle of the woods somewhere, and your little grub screw falls out, it's game over. So there you have it, both axles built up. I've put plenty of grease in, a bit of Loctite on the grub screw, obviously, that holds the drive shaft on. I haven't used any of the shims that come with it because I don't think you need them. They turn pretty free. You generally don't get a problem with the plastic axles, to be honest. I will revert back to the instructions now, and we'll start putting the chassis together. Now, the first thing I've got to do is build up the 4 shock units, but these are dead easy. I think there's only 4 bits to it. You actually have the shock body itself. There's a cap, a spring, and basically a threaded damper rod. Although there's no damping in them, it's just literally a screw with a thread on the end. So I'll go ahead, assemble those 4, and we'll move on to the chassis itself. There's my 4 shocks completed, sorted. The next job, I've started on the chassis, and the first step is to put these little brass ball joints on the frame to accept the tie rods for the axles, etc. I've also put the servo board, front servo board, and the brace at the rear on. I'm just playing around with it, really, just matching the bits and pieces so I can see what orientation they should be in. Not sure which direction the motor goes in yet, as the instructions don't cover the 2-speed, but I shall have a look online and see if I can't find any information. But we can actually slot that in with the 2 halves of the frame attached to the brace, because there's no actual little lugs, so we can literally just slide it in, so that isn't going to be a problem. So I'll keep going, try and get as much of the frame assembled, and catch you in a minute. Okay, that's the chassis made up. It's starting to look a bit more like a truck now. I've put the bumper on as well, the shock units. Oh, and don't do what I did. Put the shock units on the frame rails first before you put the 2 halves together, otherwise you can't get a screwdriver in there to screw them on. So the next step is to make up all the tie rods for the suspension. I've already started doing this. I've put the brace on both axles, and I put these little brass ball joints on here to accept the eyelets for the tie rods, etc. Started putting the steering on. Just follow the instructions, really. I think it's important that you get all the tie rods the same length, and you're actually given a little diagram with a length, so a little ruler would help here. So I'll go ahead and I'll make up all the tie rods and then see if we can't make sense of these instructions. At this point, you are supposed to put the servo in with the little top board that goes on top. But I'm not going to do that at the moment, because I'm going to save that till the next video, till we start putting all the electronics together. So I'll carry on with the tie rods. Now, if you're going to get anything right during this operation, it's well worth spending the time to get these links all the correct length. And you can take, it's a little bit laborious, but you can take some of the pain out of it by, if you hold them with a pair of pliers, and then you can just put a screwdriver through the eyelet and twist until you get the correct length. So I'm going to do that. I'm nearly done them all, and we're going to move on to the next step of fitting the links to the chassis and the axles. Okay, well, that's the axles in, so we're pretty much left with a rolling chassis. I've put the wheels on so we can get an idea of what the truck's going to look like, but as you can see, all the tie rods are on, etc. Next video, electronics. That's the bit I'm dreading, because if I cock it up and blow something up, it's not going to be much of a running video at the end. But that wasn't too hard. I mean, I've never done it before, and I've got some experience, but I've never put one of these together myself personally, and I don't think there was anything in there that was too tough. So, like I say, next video, electronics. I've got to try and figure out which way this motor is going to go in. I think it looks as though it's going to be sort of that way. So join me as I continue to build up my WPL C34 kit. And once again, all the links for all the bits and pieces, the kit, the motor, the Res 3, electronics, they're all going to be in the description. So the affiliate links, I'm not going to lie to you, so if you click them, WPL get a little tick next to my name. So if you could see your way to do that, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and you've found it of some use, give it a thumbs up. And if you're feeling that way inclined, hit that subscribe button for more future content. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you again soon.